All right. Hey, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, want to say, call halayim, wahawad, la Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Ruhahakwadash. All right. Which is to say, all praises and glory to Yahweh, the only true powerful holy name of who you intimately call God, and Yahushai, in the name Yahushai, uh, who people ignorantly refer to as Jesus Christ. All right. The Ruhahakwadash is the Holy Spirit, literally translated Spirit Holy. Double honors to the apostles, the elders, of great millstone, and peace, love, salutations, and blessings to the Lord's elect. To Brother Yeshaya, part of Men of Valor, South Carolina. And this lesson right here is going to be about the new moon. Right now, currently, we are in the new moon. Okay. And a lot of the so-called leaders of Israel, they are still, in the dark, so to say, when it comes to the new moon. All right. And that's it just baffles me, you know. But, the Lord didn't give them eyes where they could see or ears to hear. So, they're going to err not knowing the scriptures. And, it's an important thing to follow this, to follow the Shabbat to the best of your ability, because the scriptures say to remember it and to keep it holy. So that would indicate that we would have to follow it and keep track of it, and not just say that it comes on a certain perpetual day, which they like to say that it's Friday night to Saturday night sundown, which is not. By day, I mean IUIC and certain other groups, that don't have the light. So, without further ado, I'm going to go into the scriptures, and I'm going to read a couple of these articles to give a better visual, and Lord willing, this be edifying. This is Understanding the Phases of the Moon, a crash course. Okay. It says, how do you know about moon phases? Do you know which phase is invisible to us, or what the difference is between waxing and waning? Here's a crash course on understanding moon phases. So you have to understand the moon phases to understand the new moon and the perfection of the moon, which is the full moon, which comes in the middle of the month. Now, here you go. Here's a semi-accurate uh, depiction of the phases of the moon, right? So right here, you start out, and every month is what a 29.53 day lunar cycle. All right. So you have the new moon right here, which is the moon that we don't see. Well, we can see it barely, but that means this is a refreshed moon. It's a new moon. Then it start to wax. Okay, waxing, as you can see, is starting to fill. The light is starting to, encompass the moon until it reaches the full moon in phase 5, which is the perfection of the moon, as the scriptures say. Okay, so let's get that first. Sirach 43. And then let's see. Uh, Sirach 43. The pride of the height, the clear firmament, the beauty of heaven, with his glorious shoe. The sun when it appeareth, declaring at his rising a marvelous instrument, the work of the Most High. At noon it parcheth the country, and who can abide the burning heat thereof? Right. So the noon is usually the hottest part of the hottest part of the sun, or the day, pretty much. Verse 4: A man bloweth the coal, blowing a furnace in his works of heat, but the sun burneth the mountains 3 times more, breathing out fiery vapors and sending forth bright beams and dimmeth the eyes. Great is the Lord that made it, and his commandment runneth hastily. He made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times and a sign of the world. For the moon is the sign of feast, a light that decreaseth in her perfection. So there you go. How would you be able to decrease in your perfection? Okay, that's talking about when it's from the full moon, all right, and it starts to wane, because waning is to decrease, and waxing means to increase. Okay, so the full moon is the perfection, and then from then on it starts to yeah, it decreaseth in her perfection. So it decreases after the full moon. So that would mean that the full moon is the perfection of the moon, or the month. Verse 8, the month is called after her name, increasing wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmament of heaven. So there you go. All right, so that should prove that the full moon is the perfection, and it decreases in her perfection. So that means that it starts to wane after it reaches that perfect point, aka the full moon. So the full moon is not the start of the month, okay? The full moon is the middle of the month, all right? And every time we have the Passover, it's always a full moon. So that shows right there. And the Passover is what, the 14th day of the month, aka the middle of the month. So I mean, I can end it with that, but I have some other precepts to delve into. So actually, let's see. And there you go. This is a better one. Teachers, there you go. Viewing the moon phases and eclipses. So there you go. Let's say Thursday is the new moon, or would it be Saturday? Let's see. Yeah, so basically it's the 29.5, so 30-day period. So this would be roughly from Thursday up until Thursday again. Okay, 4 weeks later approximately, and then you have the new moon again, which comes in on the 30th, as you can see down here below, from 1 to 30. Those are both new moons. All right, and then in the middle of the month, okay, you have in the middle of the month you have the full moon, which is the perfection of the moon, right? Okay, so um, yeah, that I just wanted to use that as an illustration, for younger brothers that first came in. Of course, I would advise you to go to the elders and apostles to get a further and certain other bishops and brothers to get a a better breakdown, so to say, but or more in-depth breakdown. But this breakdown should be enough for you to know that the new moon, all right, is the start of each month. It's a Sabbath as well, okay? And then after that you have another Sabbath, which is the start of the actual month, pretty much, if that makes sense. So yeah, let me go to the book of Genesis. Yeah, so yeah, that the new moon is the start of the month. All right, Genesis 1, and yeah, verse 14. And the Most High said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and to let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years." Okay, so we use the moon to for signs, for seasons, for months. Okay, for our high holy days. Okay, and that's how you know. Okay, the start of the a technical day starts at night, or so-called night. All right, when the sun sets and when we see the moon, that's the start of a new day. Okay, and then especially with our high holy days and everything like that. So the Lord is not an author of confusion. He has everything set up perfectly. Okay, um, let's see. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and it was so. And the Most High made, and Elohim made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. So there you go. Okay, that's where the moon comes in. The moon is used as signs and times, okay, for seasons, for days, okay, and that's what we predicate our days, our high holy days, our Sabbaths. All right, the moon, right? Now let's move on. Let's see where I want to go next. Let's go to the book of Psalms. Actually, I'm gonna go in the blue letter. Psalms 81 and verse 3. Okay. Now, uh, let's see. All right. So, yeah, Psalms 81 and verse 3. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon in the time appointed on our solemn feast day. Okay, so if you would read this, just as it is, it would seem as though the new moon is um, you know, the full moon is the festival. All right, or what I mean, the full moon and the new moon is the same, but it's not. Okay, because when you read Psalm 81:3, it says, blow the ram's horn at noon, at new moon, slack, blow the ram's horn at new moon, and again at full moon to call a festival. So, two of our feast days fall on in the middle of the month. The Feast of Tabernacles, and of course the Feast of Unleavened Bread, which is the Passover. They both fall in the middle of the month, the 14th day, when the moon is full. If you don't believe me, next time, you have to believe me, because you would be following it wrong if you didn't. So, IUIC and all these different groups, they have different days that they, follow, well, a point for their high holy days. But we, through the Spirit, know that Yahweh Shem Yahushua set up the men a great millstone to lead us in the right direction through the Spirit. All right. And we know exactly, to the best of our ability when these days are, which is spot on, man. We can look up in the sky and get confirmation just by looking at the moon and the phases, right? So that's why it's so important to understand the moon and the phases. So let's go to the book of Leviticus 23. I'm going to start at 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them concerning the feast of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations. Even these are my feasts. Let's see. 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest, a holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein. It is a Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings. These are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations which ye shall proclaim in their seasons. In the 14th day of the first month, at the even, is the Lord's Passover. So there you go, the 14th day. All right. So, hey, that's not on the new moon. So there you go. All right. And on the 15th day of the same month is the Feast of Unleavened Bread unto the Lord. 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread. So there you go. All right. That's one of them. And then the other one is the Feast of Tabernacles, which is held in the middle of the month as well. That's the Day of Atonement. Yeah. No. It's the Feast of Tabernacles. Let me see. Yeah, here it is. And also in the 15th day, 7th month, when ye have gathered in the fruit of the land, ye shall keep a feast unto the Lord 7 days. Of the first day shall be a Sabbath, and the 8th day shall be a Sabbath. And ye shall take the first day of the boughs of the goodly trees, branches of palm trees, and the boughs of thick trees and willows of the brook, and ye shall rejoice before the Lord your power 7 days. And you shall keep it a feast unto the Lord 7 days in the year. It shall be a statute forever in your generation. Ye shall celebrate it in the 7th month. Okay, so there you go. And right now we're in the Feast of Tabernacles, because today is the Feast of Tabernacles, and it's also the new moon. No. This is Salakia. Let me see. Salakia. Having just want to make sure this is right. Let's see. This is the memorial of the blowing of the trumpets. Okay. Where's this at? So yeah, this is the we're in the memorial of the blowing of the trumpets. Okay. And yeah. But the Feast of Tabernacles does fall on the 15th day. Okay. There it is right here. So I was right through the Spirit. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, saying, the 15th day of the 7th month shall be the Feast of Tabernacles, for 7 days unto the Lord. So the Feast of Tabernacles falls on the 15th day, and also the Feast of Unleavened Bread, aka the Passover. Okay. And then we're approaching the Day of Atonement. Okay. Not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday. So yeah, I just had to clear that up, Slaki, for that. But yeah, let's move on. I got a couple more because, like I said, the elders and apostles, they already broke this down. I could go more in depth, but it would be like, I wouldn't say beating a dead horse, but, rather you go to the source of where I learned it from and learn it yourself. All right, Amos 8:5 saying, "Who? When will the new moon be gone, that we may sell corn, and the Sabbath, that we may set forth wheat, making the ephah small and the shekel great, and falsifying the balances of deceit?" So they was ready for the new moon to be gone. Okay, and they was ready for the Sabbath to be gone because the new moon is a Sabbath as well. Okay, and they wanted to cheat the body. They wanted to keep on finessing. Okay, but I just wanted to bring it up because that shows you right there that the new moon is a Sabbath as well. So, yeah. Um, Now let's go to Second Chronicles. Oops. Second Chronicles 8:13. Even after a certain rate every day, um, offering according to the commandment of Moses on the Sabbaths and on the new moons and on the solemn feasts 3 times in a year, even in the feast of unleavened bread and in the feast of weeks and in the feast of tabernacles. And he appointed, yeah. So there you go. So that shows you that the new moon dictates our holidays, our holidays, the high holy days, not the holidays, not Christmas and all that other BS, man. Okay, so there you go. All right. Um, just wanted to touch on that real fast. And one of my favorite ones I always like to bring out, 1 Samuel 20 and verse 18. Then Jonathan said to David, "Tomorrow is the new moon, and thou shalt be missed because thy seat will be empty. And when thou hast stayed 3 days, then thou shalt go down quickly and come to the place where thou didst hide thyself when the business was in hand, and shall remain in the stone Ezel." So there you go. The new moon is also a festival. Now, what they used to do was a feast. What they used to do, because obviously we can't cook on the actual Shabbat itself. We can't cook. So what they would do is they would time it out, they would plan it, and they would cook ahead of time. And then when the sun go down, everything would be hot, everything would be fresh, everything would be ready. So you wouldn't have to cook on the Shabbat. Okay, so there's ways around because I think Elder Apostle Tahar, he did a video proposing the question, can we, well, probably answering someone's question, I believe, but can we, cook on the Shabbat? Cook on the new moon because it's a feast day, which no, they had ways around that, okay, which was to prepare the food before time, and then, when the new moon came out, all the fire would be out, and then the food would still be hot, then you'd be able to have a meal. Okay, that's how you're supposed to do it, not, not cooking actually on the new moon. And I think I got one more. Exodus 20 and 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Okay? 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Shabbat of the Lord thy power. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maid servant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. So, it's a Shabbat. And the point I wanted to mention was verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Remember, and in the NLT is remember to observe the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. Now, if it was a perpetual day like Friday and Saturday, or you just count from 6 days and then bam, this is Shabbat, it wouldn't be a need for a new moon. It wouldn't be a need for none of that. But the new moon dictates the month, and there's approximately 29.53 days in a month, as we just saw, right? So that after every seventh day, after every fourth seventh day, on the fifth, that's the new moon. Okay, and then the cycle refreshes and it begins again. It's really easy concept. I didn't want to delve too deep in it, but I just wanted to bring up a couple points about the high holy days, the new moons dictating them. Talking about high holy days being in the middle of the month, which means that the new moon, the full moon is not the Sabbath because, or yes, the full moon is not the beginning of the month. Okay, the new moon is the beginning of the month, because if we were when we had a new moon and then 14 days after that new moon, that means that we only have 15 days in the month. If that made sense. So, Lord willing, it was edifying. Giving all honor, praises, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Ruach HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who were well. Peace, love, salutations, blessings to the Lord's elect. And until next time, Shalom.